the. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be watching a future-proof video, why everything is a scam now. Now, if you saw from the thumbnail, it's specifically like front and centered Temu, which is what drew me to the video in of itself. And I have a lot of negative things to say about Temu. I think a lot of it is absolute garbage. It's sold to people just janky trash. It's just, and it's very underhanded, but why is everything a scam? We're going to find out today. Future-Proof is a fantastic channel. If you want to see this video and see this channel, the link to this video will be in the description down below. Just go. Be sure to check that out. I'm getting tongue-tied before we even get started in the video. Let's get into it, yeah? I'm excited to watch it.
The internet has created the perfect environment for
everything
scams
is scamming.
to proliferate.
Everything has always been a scam. AI scamming is really bad. True.
Scamming your grandmother out of her life savings to the explosion of sketchy products that we see for sale everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere. Not just Temu. It's on, what is this? what a thing to stop on. It's even on things like Amazon. It's on Walmart. It's proliferated everywhere.
Online, and the problem is, it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse. Are you for real? Are you being for serial? I think it's going to get a lot worse. Yeah.
A huge thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. So if you've been following our channel for a while, you might have noticed that we use the word scam a lot when we're titling and thumbnailing our videos.
Because a lot of things are scams.
It has become a bit of a joke between us and the editors and the writers, and there is a reason for it. The truth is that there is just a lot of scammy stuff out there now. And also, people seem to click on videos when we put that in the title and the thumbnail over other words. So if it worked this time around, buckle up, because we have a doozy of a video to get into. In this video, we wanted to explore why there are just so many shady and deceitful and scammy products out there today, and what that spectrum of scams can look like and how you can avoid them. So on the one hand, yes, we have a rise in online and telephone scammers.
Okay, so the one thing that I highly recommend before we even get into the video is if you get a suspected email or text message or just anything, like any email that I get that has a link, I never click on the link. Even if I know with 100% without a shadow of the doubt in my mind that it's a legit source. If I get an email specifying me to go to like my bank account or something, I'm not going to click on the link in the email to go to the bank account. I'll go to the bank account on my own to get done what it needs me to do. It's just, if you're not clicking on links, if you're not clicking on ads, if you're not clicking on shady stuff, you're going to be a lot safer.
Technology to more convincingly swindle people out of their money. But Tim Nicholas has already made an entire documentary on that subject, so today we're going to be talking about the other end of the spectrum, these more kind of subtle scams that have just become normalized. I'm talking about the Shein clothes that disintegrate.
Oh yeah, Shein is so bad. Shein is trash. Clothes that have their designs that are stolen, and they're sold for like pennies on the dollar. They're typically made via slave labor or forced labor of some sort in China, and then they are shipped to us via China exploiting their status at getting a deferred shipment cost, so we can get these trashy clothes or trash, plastic junk from like Temu and Shein and whatnot, cheaper than it is to send a package from, one family member to another in a different state. It's ridiculous.
After a single wash, terrible knockoffs that don't even work, and falsely advertised products that don't actually do what they're supposed to do, and in some case may even pose a risk to the people buying them.
This is Health Canada's limit for lead in children's products. Our little red purse is 5 times more than that limit.
And the thing is, if you follow our content or you are just a critically thinking person, you might get the impression that these scams are more common than ever. And that's because you would be right. Now, I don't want to sound like an old man here, but gosh darn it, it's that bloody internet that's the problem.
Why do I sound so decrepit and vaguely British?
Our internet dependency has impacted us in two ways that have sort of created a feedback loop that has led us to the point where scams are just kind of like normal business nowadays. First, the internet has boomed and information has become everywhere. But also, misinformation and disinformation. And there is a key difference between these two things. Misinformation is just false or inaccurate information.
Disinformation is they're telling you something wrong on purpose.
False information which is deliberately intended to mislead. So while we can now get answers to almost anything nowadays, like how much does grass grow in a day?
How much does grass grow?
The answer is a fifth of an inch or half a centimeter for everyone who is an American. We also have companies and politicians and internet personalities pumping disinformation into this internet echo chamber for their own benefit. Which is why when people today see companies promoting something that the latest science has deemed to be essential to human health, they don't stop and think,
AG1?
Wait, what the hell does that even?
Yeah, the whole multivitamin, like I have a whole basket of multivitamins literally right here. Like, and the thing is, like, it's helpful, but at the same time, you're overspending for what you can get normally. If you're leading like a balanced diet, and you're eating a good source of all the vitamins and vitamins that you need, then you don't need these multivitamins. But the multivitamins can be a good tool if you're deficient and your diet is deficient. It's just you're spending a lot of money on something that you're gonna pee out 50% of, if not more.
I say, hold up.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
They just buy the product that is being advertised as a solution without even thinking about it. We've actually already made a whole video about athletic greens already, and we are not saying that green powders don't enrich your gut microbiome, but I'm willing to bet that most people don't even know what a gut microbiome is. And I'm willing to bet that they also don't know that a controlled study conducted by the company in question with only 30 individuals at the peak of their health over a 1-month basis is not really an unbiased or scientifically robust way of finding information about something.
Yeah, 30 people, that's so bad.
Then we can...
That I would say would be constituted as disinformation 100%, because you're propagating this, this claim, this study, but solely based on 30 people. It's not good.
Combine this with the fact that we have not been taught how to interpret all this information and make sense of the mess of online content that we're being fed on it.
I do think that schools need to have a higher focus on media literacy and being able to discern biased and unbiased and misinformation and disinformation on the internet. I think that needs to be a higher focus. Of course, it wasn't a thing when I went to school, of course, but when I graduated, high school, the second iPhone had just came out or something like that. I don't even remember. Maybe it was just the first iPhone. I don't remember. But yeah, there needs to be a higher focus on being able to understand the internet
on a daily basis. Media literacy online is at an all-time low, even for the generation.
Yeah, only 2% of children and young people in the UK have critical literacy skills they need to tell whether a news story is real or fake. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They need to be taught in school. 22 million adults in the UK lack essential digital skills needed for life and work. Wow. 54% of teenagers consume news from YouTube. YouTube's a valid source. 72% of young adults say they often come across fake news online. Well, I mean, how are they going to know it's fake news if only 2% of the children and young people can discern if a news story is real or fake? 42% of Americans feel the news media is doing very or somewhat well in supporting democracy. 86% of Americans believe fake news is the problem in the country. 59% of Americans get their news from social media. 44% of tweens or teens report seeing fake news online. Interesting. I would say that unfortunately, like major media conglomerates are unbelievably biased. And if you are going to get your news from like a major media source, to try to diversify and get multiple sources on the particular story you're trying to read. And that's why it's brought to you, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Ground News. Actually, no, I'm joking, I'm lying, I don't have a sponsor. It's just a funny little bit. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. But yeah, no, it's true. Like, you gotta, if you, this sort of stuff just needs to be taught.
Of people who have been raised with it. And then we have, on top of that, the insanely clever...
What is this? Wait, what was that?
...marketing and manipulation tactics.
What?
Of some
of
the most powerful...
No, stop it! My YouTube is breaking!
Who have been raised with it. And then we have...
Alright, what is this? Taco Bell advertisement, Crunch Wrap Supreme. Fluffy, full, lots of good ingredients, and this is flat, decrepit, sad, dying.
The insanely clever marketing and manipulation tactics of some of the most powerful...
Well, most of the time, the food shown off in images isn't actually even food. It's just like doctored up product to look like food.
In the world, trying to sell stuff to emotionally exhausted and desperate people, and you have just a perfect cocktail for scams to proliferate.
Nice.
And the thing is, if you spend a lot of time online, it probably means that you've already opened
ad
yourself up to
delete
scams
me,
and to data brokers. Data brokers collect a huge amount of personal data from tons of people all over the internet, and they make a profit selling it to anyone who will pay their fee. You can technically spend the hours required to scour the internet to retrieve your personal information from hundreds of different sites, or you can let Delete Me, the sponsor of today's video, do that work for you. They've got international plans, so Canadians like us are covered. And did you know that when somebody buys your
He's Canadian? Oh man, that everything makes sense now. Oh, jeez.
They can actually see information about your relatives too. I know that I personally feel better knowing that they offer family plans so that me and the rest of my family are a little bit more protected. You can get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/future20 and use code future20 at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/future20, code future20. So what do these scams look like today? Well, they are colorful, vibrant, and all over the place. If you were ever bored or looking for a side hustle, you can find a comprehensive list of scams on Wikipedia. And
that's pretty cool.
A lot of us are probably proud to say that we don't fall for the sort of snake oil salesman scams that we think of when we say...
I think a good majority of people fall for scams that they're unaware of. I would say the vast majority of people do.
Scam. But I hate to say it, you've probably already been taken advantage of, because I'm guilty of it too. I bought this leather working kit off of Amazon because I thought I was going to be a great husband and repair my wife's leather bag for her birthday. I read all the reviews.
Why would you even attempt to do that if you weren't proficient in leatherworking? That just seems like kind of dumb. I don't know. Sorry.
Compared all the products, and I bought what I thought was going to work the best, and it has failed to repair a single thing. The truth of the matter is that
because he bought a cheap Chinese knockoff.
Components inside of this kit are cheap and very low quality. Because the thing is, it's incredibly easy to look legit online. Today, basically anyone with a pulse can launch a product and set up a drop shipping site in minutes. Places like Etsy and Amazon and of course Temu are flooded with these drop shippers just trying to lure shoppers into buying a...
Do you see some of this junk? Oh my god, what was this? I saw something with toes.
Trying to lure
what is this? Oh, it's for like bunions? Okay. Okay, yeah, this is all like cheap Chinese crap.
Into buying a 5-pack of...
That's funny. This isn't a scam. That's funny, but it's on Temu, so I would never get it. But that's fun. That's funny.
Funny naked Switch stickers for a few bucks.
Okay.
My favorite part is this review where the guy says it didn't arrive for 5 weeks, but he still gave it 2 stars for good measure. And maybe this is kind of a obvious example, but the thing is, it's become really common for companies to utilize the internet as a staging ground to mislead and project legitimacy. A Forbes article put it nicely. Shady vendors used to be easy to spot. They had poor design, shoddy features, and questionable product photos. Shopify offers a quick and easy way for legitimate vendors and scammers alike to create beautiful, sophisticated online shopping platforms in a relatively short period of time. Now, to be clear, we have worked with Shopify in the past, and we love their service.
I work with Shopify. I use Shopify's website every day.
A great tool for people
like their back end like merchandising site.
Who want to launch their business online. But the same reality is that bad actors are also going to benefit from these services. And this is the difference between online and IRL experiences, right? If you walk into a store, you could look at the naked Switch sticker thing and see that it's just an obviously bad product and not buy them. But online, you've ordered this stupid thing and now it's arrived at your house and you've already paid for it and it's 5 weeks late already. Are you gonna send it back? Probably not. And now you've just been scammed.
Yep,
but
exactly.
The crazy part is that most people just think this is normal now. The bar has become so low for online shopping that we've become accustomed to low quality, poorly made crap that we're just expected to throw out after buying. And that is not entirely a failure on us, especially for many of us born into thinking that this is normal. A lot of Gen Zs don't know of an era where things have been built well.
Goddamn Gen Z ruining everything. Back in my day, things were built well, and we didn't get scammed by no Chinese Temu store.
Today, from the furniture that we sit on to the food that we eat, has been engineered to function only as long as it has to in order to ensure a sale. Older generations had a much more tangible connection to the things that they owned because in many cases
it was built well.
It was all that they had.
It was built to last, it was built well, and it was something that they would hold on to for years and years and years, decades even.
The ability that each person had for the things that they owned and the products that they sold if they were a business were just held to a higher standard. The phrase, "they don't make them like they used to," is very literally true nowadays. But sadly, for most people, they don't even know what that means. So on one hand, many of us are sort of disconnected from what a good product experience truly is, but we've also kind of lost our street smarts too.
And people are also willing to cheap out on everything. Like, if you're willing to get something of quality, you're not going to get it in, a version of it that's going to cost you $3, right? You're going to want to research it and find something that's an appropriate price, not too expensive, not too cheap, but it's probably not going to cost you $3 for something of quality, right? Just an example.
Consumers have gotten more desperate to win the lottery, so to speak. This is just the basic FOMO feeling that shoppers get when they find a great deal. This combined with the ever-present shopping culture presented on social media, and you can see why so many people fall victim to these kinds of things.
Crazy.
And there is just so many other tools working against us. We've made a whole video about celebrity products, which you should
this is a video that I wanted to watch.
Go and watch if you haven't already.
I've wanted to watch that one.
Honestly, if you like this kind of breakdown and these sort of explainer videos where we discuss our consumer world, I suggest that you subscribe to our channel.
Everyone's a consumer.
We release videos every single week. And
Consume
if you want to support this
our
channel
product.
and what we do, we have a Patreon page as well. Unlike this channel, most influencers don't really care that much about the products or the brands that they promote to their audience. But these parasocial relationships are having a bigger and bigger part in why we buy stuff today. And in a lot of ways, it just makes sense, right? Like if we can't hold the product in our hands to know what it feels like for sure, and we have no real experience with high quality products for reference, the last thing that we have is word of mouth. But the problem is, that's been fractured by the internet too. We don't have role models and community leaders of the past to help us make these kinds of decisions, so we're looking to the leaders and the role models of today, which are largely elected by the...
Okay, what's wrong with Joe Rogan and, oh God, I want to say his name was like Diaz something, right? Or am I wrong with that? I don't remember that guy's name.
...court of public opinion through followers and views. And the reality is, many of these thoughts...
Is my Lambo... Here I'm sitting in my garage with my Lambo that he leased. This guy is a huge scammer as well.
Leaders or influencers don't have the life experience to advise you on what products you should buy or the true human connection.
It just wraps back around to like celebrity worship, celebrity culture, and buying stuff just simply because there's a celebrity's face plastered over the product, right? And I don't know. I'm very anti-celebrity culture. I'm very anti-celebrity worship. It's just not something that interests me.
To make sure that your well-being is being prioritized. In fact, parasocial relationships have a direct connection with impulse buying tendencies. And the thing is, there isn't a really solid system to make sure that influencers disclose their brand connections. And I think about this all the time. Imagine what it would be like to be raised or grow up as a teenager in this kind of environment. Look, I was a teenager in the 90s and I was corrupted by, I guess...
In the 90s? Bro's old. I didn't realize. He looks younger than me.
MTV, you know? But today we have kids who won't listen to their parents, and so they're listening to YouTubers who are selling them anything from clothes to overpriced sports drinks with a literally illegal amount of caffeine in them. We've also made a couple of crime videos if you haven't seen those either. So with kids in the crosshairs here, where does this go into the future? Well, let's do some speculating, shall we? What we've already seen is that the advertising and marketing industry has had to ramp up their tactics to fight through the noise of online content today. Celebrity products, classic reboots, and limited releases are only going to become more and more and more the norm. Anything that a brand can do to make the purchase feel special or unique or fleeting in order to get people to buy with as little thought as possible. As people become more and more disheartened with the consumer landscape of today, which I think
become a consumerist dog, you bigot.
It's a bit of a testament.
I don't know where that came from.
I think we're going to see a return to in-person shops and retailers who offer an experience.
I would prefer that.
Community, and even maybe, dare I say it, products that don't suck. This might not feel.
But they're going to be
like
more expensive though, and that's the reason why something like this hasn't happened. Is because products that don't suck are going to be more expensive. And right now, at least here in the U.S. and Canada, it is harder to have money. Inflation rates have been increasingly high, so even the cheap stuff is expensive. But we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe inflation will go down, prices will go down, and people will be able to afford buying quality products in the future. I don't know. We'll see.
Our news and social media is obsessed with the giant and terrifying advancements of our material culture. And listen, I know that our channel is an example of that too, but there is a growing movement of people rejecting mindless consumerism.
I've been rejecting mindless consumerism my entire life.
For mid-century modern furniture is showing people that a table can be an heirloom. Vintage clothes that are still holding up today are showing people that clothes can be made differently.
Thrift shopping, I used to do a lot of thrift shopping. I don't have any money right now, so I don't thrift shop, and you got to be careful with a lot of thrift shops now too, because a lot of it is filled with just Shein crap too, right?
And other social meetups
crap from
are getting
Temu,
people
crap from
off
Shein.
Of their phones and back into their communities to connect with people instead of influencers. The hard part
is
that on this channel, we tend to package
Would I be an
our videos
influencer?
in a negative way. We are sadly a part of this monster, and we would love to create positive videos about all the great stuff that's going on in the world, but one, it does not perform on the platform. And this is how we support a whole team of people who make this content, so that's not possible. And two, the positive stuff
He's got a team?
kind of localized to wherever it is that you live. Most real positive progressive change is happening on the small scale with people and individuals and communities who are pushing for their own versions of the world that they want to see. Business owners doing things the old-fashioned way. people starting clubs and making connections because they feel like they should. And that's sadly not going to get a bunch of views on YouTube.
No, it won't.
So knowing that this wouldn't be a huge success, but might be a force for positivity, we would like your help. If you know of a business or a story that is positively contributing to the world that we're trying to foster here, please leave them down in the comments below or post it on our Reddit community.
I don't know of any.
We can all share some positivity and some stories that uplift us a little bit, and maybe at some point down the road we will be able to make a video that's actually positive and lighthearted in the title and the thumbnail. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more content like
I like
this,
the video.
make sure that you subscribe, and we will be here next week for another upload.
I like the video. It was a good little video. It was enjoyable. It was to the point. He expressed his intent in the video. He gave some examples. It was a good video. I really enjoyed it. And I wholeheartedly agree that a lot of stuff, you know, is a scam. Most things are scams nowadays, and not enough people realize it. So, with that being said, let's go and read some of the comments, yeah? Rural Ohio here. My dad, who is on my local school board, recently had a win. My school is very close to a huge factory called Kenworth that makes semi-trucks. When the factory was first made, it didn't have to pay local taxes as incentive to set up in their area. It has been here for decades, still not paying taxes as our school struggles to get funded. My dad, though, through lots of bureaucracy, was able to get Kenworth to pay their taxes so that our school can be better funded. Okay. Well, then what's going to stop Kenworth from leaving now, though? Hell yeah, that's some great news. New Haven needs to take note. Or you could have had a charity run instead. I guess forcing other people to pay for your stuff is less of a risk. That is great news. Huge W. Not just for your dad, but for the community too. Think of the factories. There's pretty myopic take. Does Kenworth hire local people to work in their factories? Does Kenworth expect workers who can read or write or follow directions or think creatively to solve manufacturing problems and lower process costs? If so, then Kenworth needs to pay some percentage of the education for those people in local taxes, or how those funds are collected and distributed. Some things goes for paying for water, wastewater, power, roads. Yeah, okay. Next time they need a new factory, they'll just build somewhere in Asia. That way, not only will you lose corporate tax, you will lose the income tax from the employees. Sorry, but we have a global market now where it's easier to make things overseas. We really need to increase taxes so that Americans lose jobs to Asians. Thank you. You're not supposed to deep throat the boot, bestie. That's amazing. I mean, my first thought when he said this was like, okay, well, now what's stopping the Kenworth company from building a factory somewhere else where they'll get their tax-free incentive back, right? I don't know. Why everything is a scam now? Because scams are lucrative if you find enough idiots. And with 8 billion people in total, there's at least 7 billion of them. Wow. This black within 3457 here is calling 7 billion people idiots. Joke's on you. I didn't click on it because of the title or thumbnail. I clicked on it because it was in my subscription. True. I mean, it was in my subscription feed and I saw the thumbnail. I think we need to introduce the term micro scam. We're not losing your life savings, but like microtransactions. Well, microtransactions are a scam in of itself too for video gaming. You're losing a little bit of money over and over again. It adds a little by little for each person, but adds a lot to the scammer. We truly are living in a new gilded age, complete with out control of tycoons and overabundant snake oil salesmen. I'm a bespoke tailor of men's historical suits, 1890 to 1940. I don't have a website or do any advertising. I have to hide because I would be instantly flooded with inquiries. People are absolutely sick of things being just utter crap, even if they pay pretty good money. Not everyone can afford my work, but so many people would inquire. And if you are in that situation, find a local seamstress or local tailor. My work is specialists, but these people will make great, well-made clothes like that will last decades. There's a reason, the reason or why I don't do any online shopping. If you can't find it in brick and mortar through a local source, I don't need it that badly. No Amazon, no Temu, none of them. Very freeing. It's good. It's good. We are getting scammed at work, at the grocery store, and at the pharmacy. We are being scammed. We're being scammed everywhere. Here in Brazil, even disasters are used to scam people. Unfortunate but true. Speaking of literacy, if you give someone money, you've paid them. Paid is a nautical term. I don't know what that means. They don't make like they used to. Is survivorship bias? The cheap junk largely didn't survive. I mean, I guess that is true to an extent. If you want a clickable, positive video, you should do a small business ethical gift guide. Even though it's still consumerism, it's taken a step in the right direction, and I honestly have trouble finding actual small business support online because of all the drop shippers. This is a good idea, but they wouldn't get as many views. It just straight up wouldn't. So it wouldn't be beneficial for this channel to do something like that. That's why I love buying pre-owned and really struggle to believe new clothes. If the piece survives from watching and wearing and still looks great, it feels tested. You like to wear other people's clothing. You only like to wear clothes that other people have worn. The absence of critical thinking in education is partly to blame, as is capitalism's consumerism. Sadly enough, people are critical about stuff that shouldn't be, like vaccines. Why not be critical there too? The problem isn't being critical in this case, it's rejecting facts over feelings. The problem is just that a lot of people need to resort to retail therapy to make themselves feel better. True. Retail therapy is a thing, man. Everything got so much worse in the last 10 to 15 years. We only had our parents or grandparents' stuff to compare because they could find quality stuff was easily within relative accessible prices, while now even expensive stuff sucks and doesn't last long. Maybe add a good story of the week. Good story of the week segment closing. Okay. To be honest, I never shopped at Temu or Shein. Never will. I don't want to save money. I want quality goods for the good price. That's my sense. I've not shopped at Temu, not shopped at Shein, whatever. Yeah. So, give me something of quality. They do make them like they used to. It just won't pay for it. It's expensive. Happy to see a new future-proof video. This crap is precisely why I don't shop online anymore. Removed almost all social media, uninstalled loyalty apps, stopped going to stores that kill time. Still have some problems with impulse purchases at the grocery store, but I feel so much freer. Even my ADHD improved a lot. In my 21 years of existence on the internet, I've never fallen for a single scam before. I don't know why that is a problem. Well, you probably have. Thank you for watching the video, everybody. I hope you all had a good one. I'll catch you next time, yeah? Remember, check out Future Proof. The link to this video will be in the description down below. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Take care. Goodbye.